Welcome, beautiful souls. Welcome to my channel. My name is Sadhana, and welcome to my 40-day restorative yoga challenge, Yoga Sadhana. And today we are going to do a very relaxing side stretch as well as a chest opening. So I hope you'll enjoy this posture. To get ready for today, you will need some kind of a bolster or a blanket roll. And I'm going to take you through a few different variations of this. So make sure you have a couple of blankets and a bolster and perhaps something to put underneath your head as well too. If you have a thin cushion or an additional blanket to place underneath your head, that would be great. Welcome. And I want to apologize. Yesterday in the chat, I did not respond to, there was somebody who had a question, concerns about their chronic pain. And if I do miss you in the chat, please make sure that you either comment below or you send me an email and we can talk about how we can work through modifications for the pose for you. So it can work in your body either in a chair or in another variation. Because like I said, I'm going to try to make all of these poses accessible for every body. And yesterday's posture was a little bit intense, and I had a couple of other thoughts for modifications for the pigeon pose that we did yesterday. So why don't we actually just have a look at that first? Because I know it is a really intense hip stretch for a lot of people. One thing you can do is to elevate that back leg a little bit. So to make a bit of a cushion for the back leg. And so if I demonstrate the left, then the right leg is going back. And then have this right into the groin area. So let's see if that works. I was thinking about so yesterday I focused more on propping up the right hip, which I still think is a great idea. Just going to move that back a little bit. Okay. So having a cushion also for that leg. Having a block underneath the left hip. Just move that out of the way, bringing the bolster in. Kind of did this yesterday, but I had my bolster at an angle. And if it is right in like this, then you can have one hand on either side. I just want you to make sure that you don't feel like you're leaning in this pose. So this is kind of what I did yesterday, but I was just thinking if you want nice, something soft underneath the back leg, that might help. And that also might help with bringing the hips into balance. But as I did mention, it's really important that you come into the deer posture from day 5 if this is too much on your knees. And then you can work over time towards the supported pigeon's pose. Okay, so let's get into the posture today, and I'll draw the card a little bit later. This side lying pose, we're going to place a bolster underneath the natural waist. And I'm going to have a pillow up here. So this is very good for the digestive system, as with all reclined twists. You might want to have something underneath the lower body. Like I mentioned, for yin yoga and restorative yoga, a lot of people like to have blankets over the whole mat, over and beyond the whole mat. Something also to go in between the legs. Okay. So come down with and usually when I'm doing a supine twist, I encourage to do the right side first. So we're working the liver, the ascending colon first, and then the descending colon for the second side. So come on to the bolster, and you can draw the hips up and have something to go between your legs. And you don't necessarily have to do it in this order. Begin to come down, and as you come down, the hip will come off the floor. All right, place your cushion for your head, and then begin to open the chest. And what you're going to experience here is pressure on the right side of the abdomen. And you're slowly working to bring the upper body towards a 90-degree, like an opening across the chest, where we're getting a supine twist with the hips elevated and the pressure on the side waist for the digestion. It's pretty sweet. And if you have tight pectoral muscles, this is going to be a lot for your upper body. You may want to place a cushion over here just to have something underneath your right arm. Deepen the breath and allow gravity to begin to release. And you'll also feel the opening in the top hip as well too. You can bring your knees up a little higher if you like. And just take some deep breaths here. Now, if a bolster is too much, you could use a blanket roll here. And just calm to your breath. This is a pretty sweet posture that gets into a lot of different parts of the body. So we'll be affecting each of you in a different way. Be aware of your hands. And if it's challenging to relax the hands, next time you inhale, clench your hands into a fist. And then exhale, soften your hands. Keep exhaling, the left shoulder open. Your gaze is towards the ceiling or to the left hand. The back of your head is supported on a cushion. And if you like the opening in the neck, you don't need the support there. Your lower body is relaxed. This will be a deep stretch for most people in the side waist. And I find that one of the parts of the body that tends to get missed is the lateral stretches. And so this is a beautiful lateral stretch from the left hip all up the left side body. Take your breath to where you need it most. And remember that the prana will follow the intention, the prana will follow the awareness. Both hands are soft. The left shoulder is opening and softening more. And take some deep breaths into the left side body, the left hip perhaps, the left pectoral muscles, the left shoulder. Let go. I imagine myself growing taller in this posture. Find your freedom with your breath. And if your mind tends to wander, just come back to the breath. And be aware of the pressure on the right side of the abdomen. nourishing your digestive system, the freedom that's being created through the left side of the body. And feel whatever it is you need to feel here. And if you found your sweet spot, I would suggest about 5 minutes on each side. Depends what you have time for. But you really want to make sure that once you get into that place where you finally feel, okay, I can exhale into this now, that's when the posture begins and you stay. Once you stop resisting and you can truly let go. And so for today, we'll stay for 11 more breaths. Where are you holding? Where can you soften? Bring your left hand in a little closer. Fold the left arm. Very slowly, bring the left hand to meet the right. You can bring the right arm in a little closer. The left hand can come to the mat. Rise up off the floor. Remove the bolster that's underneath the waist or the blanket roll. And just come down into fetal position. And allow the body to integrate in fetal position. You can remove the blanket or the bolster that's between your legs. And just give yourself a moment to integrate. And while you're there, I will draw today's card. Today's deck is the Universal Love deck with the artwork by Tony Carmen Salerno. And if you don't like hug decks, it's probably not for you. It is. It's a really beautiful deck, and I have trimmed it. But sometimes the light in the artwork is what I really appreciate. And if you have any other decks with this artwork, they pair so nicely together. I have one of his tarot decks, and so I use it mostly with that one. So what, excuse me, what is it that you see clarity on today? You can go ahead and very gently make your way up towards your seat. It's the spiritual growth card. It's really interesting. So I feel, and I said this a few days ago, that these cards are really supporting this journey, and the further we walk in this journey, the more that's going to be revealed, the more layers that are going to be peeled away. And coming to your mat every single day, even if it's just for one relaxing posture, is such a gift to yourself. And it's really going to help with breath, with connecting to intuition, with inviting in. We also talked about, we had that altar card one day and a couple other cards that talked about sacred space. And so to make this time the time where you, even if you just go into your backyard and lie in Shavasana, a nice supported Shavasana, what a beautiful gift for yourself. And so what this card to me is saying is that this experience is really going to help with your opening, with your awakening, with the freedom, right? We tap into the physical body, and then we have this beautiful domino effect of other things opening as well too. Okay, so let's move to the other side. I'll just shift my props down. So if you're just joining us, you need something underneath your waist. And this rolled bolster might be a little much for some people, so you could also place a blanket roll here or a smaller bolster. And so come down onto your side, your knees are up. The natural waist, so the side waist, comes down onto the bolster. And it's nice to have something underneath your head, especially if you are quite high up on a rolled bolster. And then go ahead and place something in between your legs. Could be a second bolster, could be a blanket. And then adjust the bolster accordingly so it feels comfortable between the bottom rib and the left hip bone. And then you want to keep the torso, the lower body in this position, and then begin to open the upper body. So opening the right shoulder and extending the right arm. Moving the back of the head onto your cushion. And the knees can come a little higher if needed. This sign, it reminds me, I want to announce a couple of things. I have 2 full yoga classes that I teach on Zoom. And if you go to the description box below it says other offerings by Sadhana, you can sign in for those Zoom classes through that link. Come to your breath and begin to open the right side of the body. So there is pressure, significant pressure on the left side of the digestive system, and a deep, deep stretch for the right side of the body. From the right shoulder all the way down to through the IT band for some people. Watch the clenching in the lower body. Focus on your exhale breath and see where you can let go. Right, so keep your gaze up towards the ceiling or perhaps to the right hand. Deeply breathing into the part of the body where you carry the tension. Inhaling let, exhaling go. if the stretch is intense, just stay with the breath. If it's too much in the right pectoral muscles, then of course over on the right side here, you could place something underneath the arm so the opening across the chest and the shoulder isn't so extreme. And if you're looking for shoulder openers, we did a prone shoulder opener very early on, a shoelace for the upper body. And then we also did, the day that we did the shoelace for the lower body, we did eagle arms. So this is you might like to practice one of those, perhaps in a sequence with this posture. And like I said, once the 40 days is over, I'll be doing a few videos linking several of these postures together. Take the breath to wherever your body needs it. Perhaps the right rib cage, the right shoulder, right hip. And if it's too much with the arm extended, you could also place your fingertips on the right shoulder. Or like I said, place something underneath the right arm. So let's come back to the card. And I just want to say or repeat or rephrase the whole idea that by tapping into the physical body, the asana practice, we begin to awaken other layers. And so not only are we opening the physical body, but we begin to tap into the energetic body, the emotions. That's usually the second layer. And so you can amplify that by really focusing on the breath. Not coming into an ujjayi breath. The ujjayi breath is where you restrict the back of the throat and you really hear a noisy breath. But just a conscious, deep, full breath. Let's do 11 more on this side. Taking the breath to where your body is speaking to you right now. And if you want to stay, please stay. Bring the right arm in, slowly rolling over onto your left side. Raise the body up. If you're on a high bolster, it feels like a long, long ways. Remove the bolster that's underneath the waist. Remove the support underneath the knees. Come down onto your back into Shavasana. And I would encourage you in Shavasana to remove the pillow that's underneath your head. unless it truly supports your alignment. And of course, anything else that is not going to keep the body aligned. Walk the shoulder blades together. Have the arms far enough apart from the body so you have some space between your torso and your arms. And make sure the legs are far enough apart that the feet can rest to the outside. And deepen your breath. And always remember that the integration that we experience in Shavasana is part of the practice. And so part of planning your daily practice is, all right, so I need a couple minutes to set up, 5 minutes on each side, 3 or 4 minutes for Shavasana, right? So just set a reasonable amount of time so you don't feel rushed. And I encourage you to remain in Shavasana for as long as you are able. I'm going to begin my transition up. If you are joining me, bring the soles of the feet to the mat. Move to the side. And very slowly coming up to your seat. If you have time to enjoy your seat, then please do so. Close your eyes. Feel the effects of the practice. Either hands resting on your lap, or you can bring your palms in towards the chest, thumbs right into the heart center. Feel each of the fingers. Lift the shoulders back. Big breath, the nose, and a deep exhale breath. So thank you. Thank you very much for joining me today, and I really look forward to seeing you tomorrow. And if you're able to join me at 10 a.m., I know the board says 9 a.m., but we've changed it till 10. So at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, there is a very gentle Hatha yoga practice from 10 to 11:15 on Zoom. And the link for that is in the description box below. Stay well. See you tomorrow. Namaste.